Why is it Undertaker?
What is the black guy in what's?
Welcome along, weekend roundup. Oh my days. We're in for a great show today, guys. Well, what about the North London derby?
I'm not getting rattled.
We're 3 points off top 4, so it's not looking too bad.
Yeah. Foden 88, Saka 87. I think that's wrong.
Nicely you put your top on. You want to take it off and get the branding out? Happy birthday!
Make a wish to win the league.
I did.
But how much chance of Arsenal have of winning the Champions League?
0, mate.
If we got through PSV, do you think there's any chance?
No.
Hang on, let me finish.
Predictions.
2-1 Tottenham.
3-1 Liverpool.
2-0 Wolves.
Chelsea to beat Man United at Old Trafford.
Still there.
You're in trouble if we win this game.
You better not lose on Saturday.
We beat the world champions this weekend. That makes you world champion.
We're the world champions, but you're not in a title race.
This is why you'll never win the league.
6 billion down the drain.
Robbie celebrating a 1-0 win. Abby, Pilates instead of trophies. You're never walking alone.
Catch us every Monday for the weekend roundup.
Yes, people, welcome back to DR Sports and welcome to the Live at 5 show. It's been a great weekend of Premier League action and we've asked you to send in your hot takes and we're going to go through them today and debate everything that you've said to us. With me today in the studio, on the one side I've got Laurie, who was very excited to cook AGT, who isn't here today. However,
Where is he?
Good weekend?
Yeah, I had
Send
a very
him a
good
message,
weekend.
he's not here.
Where are you, man? Come on, you're ducking the smoke. You knew I came especially for you, and you're not here. Very disappointing, man. Bit like Liverpool, don't want to turn up, but hey.
And on the other side, there's no point really introing him. But first of all, let me say this. He wasn't meant to be in today. He's actually sacrificed his own time, changed his plans, and sacrificed his own money just to be here. It's Dylan.
It's me! We're back!
Crown.
I've got my crown on because I feel fantastic today. I feel like the king. I feel like the king today. I'm sure Flex is at a lovely day today, and I'm streaming with Flex later as well on United View, but I've not felt this good in terms of United and football in a while.
I didn't realise how long it had been. I mean, Nick put a photo on Instagram earlier of last time you won at Anfield and he was a child.
Mate, yeah, I was...
It's like a decade, isn't it?
16, 15 years old I was when we last won at Anfield. I remember the game as well. I literally remember I was watching some bootleg stream and it was Wayne Rooney. It was Marouane Fellaini. Gets up, does the header, hits the crossbar. Wayne Rooney smashes it in. And little did I think that literally I would be waiting another 10 years, almost 10 years, to be watching that again. And it was again our big man jumping up, bang, heading it in with a by the way, an assist. Yeah, it was a real slabhead special. An assist that I think 99 out of 100 people would not have made that assist. The ball would have come down, they'd have controlled it, wouldn't they? Controlled it. But Bruno Fernandes, straight over the top. Harry Maguire, 3 players could have scored that goal. If you watch the replays, there are 3 players all lined up at the back post. Liverpool had no idea what they were doing. Honestly, I think they had no idea what they were doing that entire game.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't expecting you to win, but what we're going to do today is we've got people sending some takes. So look, if you're watching us on Samsung TV, we appreciate you joining us. If you are on YouTube, however, and you're watching us live, please get your hot takes in the chat as well, in Super Chats too, and we'll make sure we get through to them. But it's probably only fair that we start with United because you've made such an effort to be here. Is this a turning point? We'll start with you, Laurie, for United.
It could well be. I mean, I've got to be honest. I didn't see this coming. I'm very grateful for the win, actually.
Thanks, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm probably as happy about you winning as you are. Believe it or not. Almost.
Not that far off, because I got to say, what I think we've done is we've given you the 3 points that you didn't get at Anfield a few weeks ago, like a month ago.
Whoa,
you guys lost at Anfield, and we all agreed, Arsenal, they did not go for that win, right? You didn't go for that win. You set up with the best win in the world, scared of Liverpool, and you backed
risk
off
averse,
and you
I
helped.
wouldn't say scared.
Risk averse, but like you didn't take the chance that you should have. We did, to a certain extent. We took that chance. Amram changed his tactics. He adapted to the opposition. Honestly, for one, I think the first time I've seen him do it dropping Šeško. I remember before kickoff, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with it.
I saw the tweet.
Yeah, I got flamed for that tweet. That tweet's on like 300,000 views. It's everyone just getting at me. But honestly, I didn't think that it was the best idea. And I got to hold my hands up. I was wrong.
No, but that's why the managers get paid all this money.
Yeah, but it's the first time he's done it, and it's taken 11 and a half months to do it. But I'm happy he's done it. And it was, we took that chance, we took that risk, we made changes. Slot at the beginning of the game was being like, I didn't expect them to drop Šeško. Why have they done that?
Yeah, did you see that quote when he was like,
it's ridiculous.
Šeško has played the last 4 games, but now they come to Liverpool, they changed their lineup, and it's not the first time.
I've got to say, Arne Slot, what's happened to the charming, avuncular, gentlemanly, this so-called man of class that we saw last season when things were going your way? it was all good. Now we're seeing cracks, and you're not looking that charming, avuncular figure that you was last season.
I mean,
It's a
what
bit
did he say
cloppy,
before the
isn't it?
game? Before the game, it was we've conceded loads of goals from set pieces and Arsenal have scored loads, so the fact they're only 1 point behind isn't that bad.
Bizarre.
And then poetically, Arsenal win 1-0 from a set piece and they lose from...
But
it's a
then
set piece,
he's
isn't it?
talking
Set
about
piece.
he's like throwing shade on you guys, saying, "Oh, Man United of all teams." I'm paraphrasing.
Before
playing
the game,
long balls and stuff. I'm
Slot
like, bro,
Slot
what
in his
did you
press
expect?
conference. Slot in his press conference said Manchester United have played better than their league position shows. He said that before the game. Then we dropped Šeško, and he goes, "Oh, why have they dropped Šeško? Why are they doing that? We've watched them play Šeško the last 4 games. Why are they doing that?" And this is a man, by the way, who signed 2 strikers in 1 window. He signed 2 strikers in 1 window and kept going on about how they need a whole squad to compete in all competitions. As soon as someone else rotates, suddenly it's, "Oh, why are they doing that?"
But
That's
you know what
not
that
fair.
spoke of to me as well, just briefly? It spoke to a man who didn't prepare right, because
He didn't.
You can't have just one game plan. You have to have a game plan which suggests that Šeško didn't play or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
He just kind of assumed it.
Yeah,
Do you
he
remember
just-
on Friday, you, Abby, and I talked about, and I asked, is Slot being too open in his press conference? I said, stop talking about constantly saying, we can't deal with long balls, we can't deal with long throws, set pieces are a problem. Ahead of playing Man United, who 2 weeks before against Sunderland, the only thing we did was long balls. 25% of this game against Liverpool, 25% of our passes were long balls. Le Mans had about 20% pass
He was
rate because
good, by
all
the
he
way.
did, he was fantastic.
Wait, hang on. Is he good, or is he just a goalkeeper that can do the fundamentals?
I think he's
Because you've not had a great time
got a
with
good.
keepers.
Yeah. He looks amazing because the people who were playing before him were just terrible.
Yeah, I saw him catch a cross and was like, wow. Or I think there was a corner and he went through someone and caught it, and I was like, wow.
But at the same time, he made a massive range of saves against. So he made 5 saves against Liverpool. 2 of them he caught were literally balls shot at him, and he caught them. 1 or 2 with his feet, and then 2 were diving saves. The range of saves he made against Liverpool, against someone like Isak, £130 million striker, right, who will score 26 goals last season. Isak was silent. I didn't see him anywhere.
I'll tell you what else that does as well, as I'm sure you'd appreciate. When you've got a goalkeeper that is, worthy of the name, it breeds a confidence in the rest of the back four to suggest that, listen, even if we are breached, this guy can take care of things at the back.
100%.
So
We won.
it's very important.
We were nowhere near our best, I'd say. Looking at the squad that we have and the players we have, I think we got a fantastic squad that can hit Champions League level places.
100%.
But we're not playing like that because I think there are still systematic issues at United. That wasn't our best performance this season. That's probably maybe 3rd best performance. Like our performance against Arsenal was better. Our performance against Chelsea until Casemiro's red card, better. Our performance against Sunderland, much better. So that was maybe our 4th best performance this season,
Got the
away
goals
against
at the
Liverpool, the
crucial time.
champions, and they couldn't handle it. All we did was stood back a little bit and didn't jostle their centre backs, and they had no clue what to do. They didn't win. Can't remember basically a single second ball that they won. We won all the second balls. We just ran at them, and we stand in defence, just stayed there.
And it helped that you got the early goal. I think that one.
Big time.
Definitely. I think it's so telling as well that when Liverpool equalise, usually everyone sits there and goes, well, they're going to go and win it now. But even Neville said on commentary, he was like, I think United can score again,
Yeah, he kept saying...
He was like, even though they've equalised, I genuinely think United are going to go and score again, which that doesn't really happen at Anfield.
I must admit,
Usually
though,
it's-
when they did score, I was starting to think that they're going to nick it. I had that vibe.
I still don't trust my team, so immediately, as soon as Gakpo scored, I was like, well, it was a good 75 minutes, guys. Enjoyed that one. But then...
Credit to Amorim, by the way, for when you score, he takes off Bruno. He goes, I know you're the best player, but I need legs.
That was a major
I need
call.
legs in midfield now. So I'm sorry, but we're changing that. Where maybe before he doesn't do that, he tries to give Bruno the full 90, and he was gassed out, but because he works.
Bruno
hard.
wasn't that good. Bar the one moment of quality where he was standout 10 out of 10 for that cross. The second half in particular, I don't think he had a good game. It was the more Liverpool threw at us, and when they went 4-2-4 with their 2 midfielders being
In the
Wirtz and
60th
Jones.
minute, by the way.
Yeah,
But
4-2-4.
that, my friend, is the epitome of a good player. That's what
Yeah,
we always talk about.
he's a clutch player.
You
He
can
didn't have
go
the best
missing
game, but
for
he still
large
influenced
spells. You could go missing for large spells in a football game, but it is 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Leave a guy like that on the pitch, and he can
I'm
come
just-
up with something.
Nick's
like
in the
you just
chat.
said.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Nick's in the chat saying, has anybody seen Mo Salah?
Mate, I mean, Culture Cam's search warrant's still out there. They still don't know where Mo Salah's gone. But I think the main thing with Amorim, which is this game, which I'm so happy about, was he finally did things to get the small wins. I've been banging on about this the entire season. I probably mentioned it every single show, is that Amorim doesn't make the changes to get the small wins, and he did against Liverpool.
His in-game management, I thought, was amazing. Like bringing on Sesko and just being like, we're just going to hit you with long balls because we know you're at least going to flick it on or do something. It's something we've not really seen from him. But the first hot take we'll get into then is one that you brought to us. Should Sir Harry Maguire be starting for England at the World Cup?
I'm not saying that this is my hot take, but this is someone, Callum Foy, who works. It was Callum Foy, one of my editors in the United District, brought this up. Honestly, but I don't think it's that bad of a shout.
He's never really let England down.
He's never let England down. He's been a mainstay in England's squads forever until about the last year or so when he's been in and out of the United squad.
Maguire for England? That was last World Cup, right?
Pete Harry Maguire for England, I'd say 2021. The Euros, 2020, 2020.
Yeah,
the one that was in
the
summer 2021. All the 18 World Cup. He was fantastic then. But he's the kind of guy I think that you need. That guy is the mentality on him. Regardless of how you think of him as a player, he's got his issues as a player. You know, if you play a high line, he's going to struggle. But in terms of having someone like that, like if you're bringing Jordan Henderson, right, in your current squads to be like the figurehead, the someone who the other players can rely on and have as part of your, like, you know, the mentality monster guys. Why bring Jordan Henderson when you got someone like Harry Maguire instead? Thomas Tuchel loves his centre-backs, and it's not like England have a massive plethora of centre-backs in the way they do for attack and midfield. That's where England are stacked. So don't bring Jordan Henderson as one of your midfield guys. Keep, bring Elliot Anderson and Wharton and co in your midfield and Bellingham, etc. And then you have Harry Maguire as maybe your fifth choice centre-back. Someone like that. If you are losing in the 8, Amorim knows this. If you're losing with 10 minutes to go, just bring on Harry Maguire. It's worked for us countless times in the last couple of years. You may as well have the option to do it.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, moving on to Liverpool, there's so many questions. I was trying to compile a list of things we can ask about Liverpool, and we've got a pretty big list. But my first one is, does Slot have a problem with not adapting? Because I've seen now, someone pointed out to me that he can't play 3 at the back teams. You see, Crystal Palace seems to have Liverpool's number every time. You know, Amorim got a draw at Anfield last season. Obviously, gets to win this time, and it seems to be like, I was watching it, and Kirkez had Ahmad, but then Mbumo and Mount, or whoever it was, and Cunha, you're like double teaming on Van Dijk all the time. It's like they didn't know how to delegate having the wing back coming up as well, and it's something you see it with Munoz and Sarr. Sarr always scores. So, systematic problem or just coincidence?
Might well be. There's certainly something to. Certainly something in that. What I would say about Slot, though, is that, and this could be quite alarming from a Liverpool perspective, is that he doesn't appear to be handling the pressure very well. You can see, because last season he came into a team that was already settled. He had the squad. There was no real pressure on him. Last season, let's be honest, it was a bit of a free hit. And I'll give him credit. He did better than expected. However, this season, having spent all the money, bought in, broke transfer window records twice. Expectation now is a lot more than it was last season. He's clearly struggling. I mean, it was me and you and Abby, wasn't it? When I was saying that he's under pressure and he's not handling it well. And Abby was saying he's not under pressure. I said he is. Well, if he wasn't then, he certainly is now. And I'm seeing cracks in him. I mean, like we were saying, some of the statements he gave after the United game were bizarre and ridiculous. I mean, this thing about set pieces, bringing up Arsenal all the time, talking about we're prepared for Sesko, he's not playing, why wouldn't they play? I mean, come on, that's just like... You wouldn't hear Klopp come out with stuff like that.
I'm beginning to feel like Slot's becoming way too one-dimensional, or that he is too one-dimensional. And last season was a massive favour for him, right? Everyone was poor last season, bar Liverpool, who were just good with someone who had a beyond elite world-class season on the right in terms of Salah's finishing. Like I've seen, like Tom Garrett said a number of times, he feels that Salah isn't necessarily the world's, best overall footballer in the way that like Messi, for example, was and has been, or like people who are just... or Hazard was so well-rounded. Salah was just, he kept scoring. The momentum for Salah, especially the first half of last season, was almost one of a kind. This season, Salah's dropped off, and it's Liverpool have become a more even team, and it feels like it's become too one-dimensional. As soon as you can't score, like you said, if you're struggling against 3 at the backsides, as soon as he can't, the first phase of whatever he wants to do in the first kind of 10, 15 minutes maybe doesn't work out, it's just like, oh, okay, Let's get more of them on the pitch. You know what? Just more of them. You know what, guys? Just shoot a load. And then as soon as you got a goalkeeper that's doing well, or your strikers are having an off day, there's no looking at the team and going, like, the only tactic that they had against us really was, okay, you're 2-on-1 against the lit. That was the only real hole that I saw. Was that they would
clips cross into Gakpo or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It was because Ahmad was pushing so high, whereas like Dalot was obviously a little further back to maintain Salah. Gakpo was had a lot of joy against the lit. That was it. That was like the only thing I saw from Slot where it was like, that's an idea.
Putting Dalot on that side, bringing on Dorgu. He said, I've seen that and we'll address it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Delit one point was complaining about it, but it's like Slot's almost looking too one-dimensionally. He has an idea. That idea doesn't work. There is nothing else that he does. And it's what Amrim's been doing before, but now Amrim's in-game management was fantastic. Yeah, Slot's really wasn't.
And I think he's also got a massive problem, Slot, and I don't know what you guys think about it. How do you manage the egos and the expensive players you've got when people are playing better? Like, if you've got Mo Salah, who you've just given £400,000 a week, you've spent all that money on Wirtz, you've spent all that money on Isak, but then Chiesa is playing better and Ekitike is playing better. How do you manage that? Because you can't drop the big names, or you're going to have an ego problem in the squad, but also you've got to reward who's playing well.
Do Liverpool... To be fair, I look at Liverpool's squad and I don't necessarily think that any of them have massive egos.
Could you drop Salah for Chiesa? Would that go down well? I mean, I'm just...
I don't know. I don't know. But I don't... Salah's never screamed as like a guy who's going to throw a fit if he doesn't start. So we don't know because he's never...
Do you remember when he got subbed off against West Ham with 20 minutes to go and he was...
He fell out with Klopp.
That's true. That is true, to be fair. That is true.
And he's fallen out with Klopp a few times, remember?
But that might be because he was doing so well.
Doing the, taking the shirt off, don't forget about me. Now you've got Isak and getting his second yellow for that. And then maybe there's a thing where Ekitike thinks he deserves to be playing, but maybe he won't because the other striker's more expensive. And I mean, they're the same profile. It's not like you can be like, oh, he offers something different because Isak is just Ekitike but better.
Maybe they do. I look at most Liverpool squad and for example, I compare it to maybe some squads of the past at United, for example, where like people would just, as soon as something went wrong, everyone arms were up in the air all the time and everything. But I feel like most of the Liverpool squad are probably a little bit more accepting of there have to be in rotation because I think from the summer that would have been the message. But maybe it's unhandleable. If you're winning, it'll be easy.
It needs to be fair because I mean, last season with Slot, he subbed Quansah at half-time in the first game of the season, and Konate came in and it worked. Like, he proved that it was a good decision, but he now needs to be consistent with that, and it can't be Ekitike, I'm not going to start you even though you're playing well because I want to play Isak into form, but then also I'm going to make changes here and there. Like, he just needs to
I will give him a bit of slack on that one, because if you brought Isak into the team and obviously didn't have a pre-season or anything like that, you do need to play him into the form a little bit because there's only so long. I mean, you can train as much as you want, but at the end of the day, we've all played football. You get much better when you're playing than just training. So I'll give him a little bit of a slack with that. But yeah, there are issues, certainly.
100%.
Isak and Salah should not be starting their next game, though.
As in, leave them at home for Frankfurt? Or as
in just don't start them.
What, in the Champions League and then bring them back in for the Prem for Brentford? Or are you saying take them out for the Brentford
You
game?
can't, like...
No, but maybe they need that time. That's the thing. Sometimes you need to play yourself into form. Being on the bench is not going to do that. You need that sharpness of playing matches.
Yeah, but there comes a point where you've lost 4 in a row. You can't then potentially sacrifice a 5th just, because, Isak needs another 3. He needs another 270 minutes before he scores a goal. You're at the point now where you need wins. Slot needs a win. So much of this goes away as soon as he gets another win because it's just they lost 3 at the back. They lost 3 in a row just before the international break. The whole international break. I've been there so many times. The narrative is just, it's so like all-encompassing because there's nothing else to talk about. Like, we know this as football fans and people obviously who we're on camera a lot talking about this stuff. It becomes a bit all-encompassing like when you're 10 days into the window. But then it's United at home. United haven't been great the whole season. And it's like, this is a redemption fixture. And then bang, 2-1 loss. Like, they got completely done by our tactics, our approach to it, and they had no answer to it. So if Slot wins, so much of this pressure is immediately relieved. Like, you saw Amorim before the Sunderland game, when we lost to Brentford, it was, this is it. We beat Sunderland 2-0, decent performance, and suddenly, like, all that pressure, not all the pressure, A lot of the pressure is gone. He just needs to win. So right now, it's not give Isak another 60 to give, to get him his minutes. Start Ekitike. He's your better striker right now. Drop Salah. He's not one of your right now. Based on those last couple of games, he's not one of your best wingers because he's missing. He's not creating. He's not tracking back any of this stuff. Away from home, you need someone who's going to work hard on that. Right. So maybe start Chiesa. And then bring Salah back into the Premier League.
I think there's a clip going viral where Sanchez just throws it over Salah's head and they've completely broken the press. I think Cucurella came out after the game and said, we know that when we get past Salah, we've got a 2-on-1 because he's not going to track back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, that brings us perfectly onto one of our hot takes from the viewers at home. Again, if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you get them in the chat, get the super chats in. But Moa says Chiesa deserves to be starting ahead of Salah. I mean, every time he comes on, he gets a goal or an assist. He got the assist yesterday, right?
Yes, he did.
And then pretty much scores or assists every time he plays for Liverpool, and he's proven his fitness a little bit now. So,
yeah, listen, I mean, you could make a case for that. I'm just saying that what Salah's done for the club in recent years is of such a high level that do you really want to risk alienating him? Making him the scapegoat, even though he's got to take more than his fair share of the blame.
It's not necessarily about dropping Salah for the next 3 months and you're becoming an impact player. I think it's just the next game. Like I said before, I think drop him for the next game. Like these guys, So some of the comments talking about 48 goal season don't just go off recency bias, but there is a certain extent of you got to play your best players. Like I said before, if you need to win a game, Slot needs to win more than any other manager in this. Probably maybe Vitor Pereira. Slot needs a.
He's got like a 4-year contract a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but he actually might be okay. But Slot probably needs a win more than any other manager in this league right now. Be that in the Champions League, be that in the Carabao Cup, be that in the Premier League. He just needs to be able to put 3 points somewhere, literally anywhere, and that might just be by going Mo. You're having because you can angle it as like a Mo. You've not been on fantastic form. I'm going to give you a rest. Not necessarily you've been bad, so I'm dropping you. I'm giving you a rest here. That might be the best way to handle it and talk about it. So when you talk about how Slot handles it, it might just be, I'm going to give you some breathing space. But I agree with that take, at least for the Frankfurt game. Give Chiesa a chance, because also he'll be bursting for it as well.
That could be a good idea. I'm just saying, again, this is why managers get paid all this money, because I would imagine a player like Salah, with his ego and hubris and what he's done for the club, I don't think he's going to take that lightly. He will see that as him being made the scapegoat. And let's be honest, he isn't the only one that's not playing well at Liverpool. Yeah. Very few are. He will see that he's been made the scapegoat, I guarantee 100%.
You. 100%. And the thing with it is, if you're one of these fringe players, players that aren't starting, you need to know that you have a fair chance of getting in the team. But Ekitike right now will be really motivated to work his way in the team. But if he clocks after 20 games that no matter how well he does, Isak's going to be the guy that starts because he's the big money signing, then you lose that motivation. So Slot just needs to keep it fair. And look, if he's in better form, he starts. We're going to play Carabao, we're going to play Champions League.
To drop Isak than it would be to drop Salah.
Because he's the new signing. You can play the settle in, let's ease you into it. But yeah, Salah on the back of, on the new contract as well. People are saying he's done the Aubameyang.
Done it several seasons on the trot. You drop him now, it's going to be the headline. He will interpret that as I've been made the fall guy.
Maybe that's why Frankfurt's a good chance to do it. Because I mean, they've got to fly to Germany to play on Wednesday. Maybe you do say to him, look, just stay at home, or sit on the bench. Like, you're 33, you've just played Man United, it's taken everything out of you. Just chill for the week.
Just lie and say he's injured.
And just make sure that when we play Brentford away, you turn up.
It's also the older rotation.
As a manager as well, you never want your players to be comfortable, do you? Comfortable players don't win league titles. They never do. Like, you don't want anyone at Arsenal going, oh, you know what, I'm all right, I know I'll start next weekend. No, you never want that. You don't want players to be comfortable.
But within any club, you're going to get your no-brainers, aren't you? We've got them at Arsenal.
Yeah, but I would hardly say Salah's a no-brainer at the moment. I know he had his elite season last season, and I'm not going to bash that or anything at all. Right now, Salah's not a no-brainer. If I'm going in next weekend, I'm taking off so far this season, even the whole of 2025. Salah's got, I think, 4 non-penalty goals this year. Yeah, it's not a new thing.
Which is not good.
It's like you may as well, even if it's a case of you may as well see what happens when he gets dropped. You may as well find out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like he's going to suddenly score a hat-trick on the weekend. Were you advocating for Bruno to get dropped?
Sorry, say that again.
When United were going through your struggles, were you advocating for Bruno to get dropped?
But when we were going through our struggles, I think Bruno Fernandes was one of our better players.
Yeah,
I was advocating for someone like Rasmus.
There was a time,
Rasmus
though,
Højlund,
last
for
season when
example.
he was throwing his hands in the air and he was.
Yeah,
tracking back himself and-
first half of last season, he got 3 red cards in a couple months, and admittedly, one of the red cards.
He never got dropped though. Did he?
No, he didn't. But I wouldn't have minded if he was. So, for example, when Bruno was playing badly, against Liverpool, obviously he had the assist moment, which was just a 10 out of 10 moment, 10 out of 10 assist. But Amram took him off when we were under the cosh for the last 10, 12 minutes of that game. It was the correct decision. Yeah, you might say, Bruno's a 90-minute man, plays all the time, gets the assist for the game. But when it was like, Bruno Fernandes isn't needed anymore right now. We don't need him to create another chance. We're here to get the win. He took Bruno off and put Kobe on.
Which was the right decision at the time.
It was the right decision.
You needed fresh legs in that midfield because I know they're going to come back at you. And just to link it back to Arsenal, like we were saying, I think Dylan's got a point about everyone at Arsenal knows they've got a fair chance. Like, Mikel Merino knows that he's got a decent chance of getting in. Like, we know that Eze has a decent chance of playing over Odegaard, and I'm fairly sure in his mind, Madueke probably feels like there's a decent chance he'll get minutes even when Saka's fit. So Arteta seems to sort of have that nailed. Even Mosquera has come in for Saliba. So
you are right.
Like
I'm just saying that with Saka, Salah. It's a slightly different ball game because of the success he's
the
achieved.
Man. Yeah.
I mean, even last season, player of the season, player of the season, he's won all the accolades. So what I'm saying is now things are not working out. These last few games, or you could say since the start
it's
of the
the
season.
last 8 months. Okay. I really think it is.
Yeah, but he won Player of the Season last season, so...
No, I know, but I'm just saying, since the turn of 20... Well, he had something like 20 goals and 15 assists or something, by February or something, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, there was a period where I think they played PSG home and away and Salah was anonymous, and then they played the Carabao Cup final and he didn't turn up, and then he pretty much just disappeared.
He never really came back. It's been longer than just the beginning of this season. But Salah's kind of made up for it in the first half of last season by being so incredibly good at finishing and scoring. Like Salah, he's not beating his man at the moment. He's not got that extra burst of pace to then track back and go forwards again. He's not getting any younger.
It was like, by his standards, it was really poor.
Yeah, it was when Lemens came out and then he just it was. I just think also Salah's getting to an age now where you have to consider managing him. You can't be asking him to do 90 minutes twice a week.
Because Carragher and Neville spoke after the game and they were talking about Salah being 33 now, or whatever he is. And I think it was Neville came out and said, but he's not physically declining. He doesn't look slower or more sluggish. He looks technically worse. Like he's hitting that ball at the
confidence
back.
Or?
Yeah, but like he's hitting that ball at the back post and completely missing the goal. He had the one against Chelsea where Wirtz flicks it and he misses the goal. Getting a bit older doesn't make you technically worse. So like if he was looking slow and off the pace, then maybe. What has happened to him? Is it just a confidence dip?
I guess we have to put it down to confidence.
Confidence dip?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Certain, for 100% confidence. Because when he wasn't, as I said before, last season, I wouldn't say he was obviously player of the season, all of that. But it wasn't like he was dazzling everyone with amazing stuff. It was just that his goal scoring was purely incredible and his output, his end product, was just outstanding to the point where you got to hold your hands up and go, yeah, absurd is the best word for it. Like, how on earth have you done that? But it's now he's not got that, and it feels like the fact that he overperformed, I'd say to a certain extent, on his output now is catching up to him a bit. XG always catches up to you. XG catches up to everybody all the time.
Always catches up to you,
mate. All the time. It feels like right now, maybe it might be time to sit down with him and go, right, you're not playing this one game. Just want to see how it works. Don't worry, you'll be starting again on the weekend. But just give him a bit of breathing space and time to figure it out.
Like Jack says, it's Frankfurt. With respect, that is not the most, high profile.
And that's a team that have lost a lot of their best players in the last 12 months.
So you can use the old euphemism of rotation.
Yeah, Dylan's right. It can't be a punishment. There has to be. He's got a word that is you're being rotated, rested, given a chance to recover.
He's being managed. As a manager, you manage.
That's the euphemism that the manager's going to come with.
Which is really the best way to do it.
They will interpret it very different as him.
Yeah, but
you can't.
I know this is kind of throwing stones in glass house a bit, but in terms of Liverpool, who cares about what the press say? Yeah. Realistically, a big club. There might be. And then let's say Chiesa then scores twice. Let's say Chiesa starts and gets a man of the match performance. Suddenly it's Slot's got his win. Liverpool are looking all right. And then Salah can come back in the weekend. And maybe Chiesa plays the other side or plays down the middle or something.
Or maybe not.
Frimpong
Or maybe he
right
doesn't.
wing.
Yeah.
And Bradley starts right back. They've got options.
Yeah, they have options. And I think, just like not having Salah in the team will probably benefit them in the short term right now. And then build him back up. Because he'll get the penalty. He'll score that wonder goal. He'll cut inside. Something will go right.
It might
and
almost
it'll be better for him
annoy
again.
him to the point where he becomes good. Like I've got a chip on my shoulder now. I'm going to play Brentford and score, and then show why you shouldn't have dropped me. Like it might even annoy him, but in a good way.
This is what I mean when I say that you shouldn't be having untouchable players when you're aiming for like
Because you get
titles. Yeah, it's like Arteta. Arteta is so good at it.
It's a bit like Gyökeres now because he hasn't got any competition. It's like he knows he's going to get 90 after 90 after 90. If Havertz was there pushing him and he was getting hooked after 60 minutes, maybe you see a bit more of a switch.
Yeah, like Haaland. Haaland went 19 games without scoring, but that's because we had no choice. There was no one else.
Yeah,
there was no one else.
You say
he plateaued.
Arteta's really good at it, but there was a big school of thought last season that suggested that Odegaard should have been dropped, and he wasn't.
Yeah, but you
we
didn't
all
necessarily
know
have
his
the men to then back it up because the other option right in the middle was unwary realistically.
And Saka was out, so he was playing right wing for a bit, so it was tough.
But we did have Wanyeri, and we hardly played him, and a lot of people were saying, "Look, come on, I know he's a captain, I know you love him, but he's not performing."
And we'll see,
but this season, if that happened, then you've got if this season. Sorry, I'll cut you off, but let's say that happens last season, but you also have Eze. Odegaard probably does get dropped.
Well, we'll see this season when Odegaard's back, whether he throws him straight back in and tries to shoehorn Eze at left wing, whether he changes it. But last bit on Liverpool, Posty sends us in a hot take, and he says Slot needs to have his 2016-17 Conte moment and go to 3-5-2 with Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson at the back. You know, remember we played Chelsea at home, beat them 3-0, smashed them, and then they went to 5 at the back, Victor Moses wing back, and they just basically didn't lose. They won the league. Is it something now, maybe not 3 at the back, but is this the trigger point where it's like, I've got to change the system? Like, I need a major change now. If you're the team that does that as well. You're the team that makes Slot change the entire system. Would be so funny.
And they go and storm it.
Useless.
We are the worst 3 at the back team in the league at points. Well, honestly, I'm going to say run those tapes back because I said this. I said this back in July.
What, little 3 back?
I said at some point,
natural right wing back.
I said that at some point this season, Slot is going to try a 3 at the back. Obviously, it's not actually happened yet. But it was when they were going to sign Mark Gay. They now have only 3 centre backs, so it might not happen yet.
Well, they're saying Robertson, because he's a bit slower, put him left centre back. Van Dijk in a centre.
Robertson is like Luke Shaw arc.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Luke, Robertson, maybe, playing those diagonals because Robinson's got a solid pass on him. But I said it when they were looking like they were going to get Mark Gay, that at some point Slot was going to try a 3 at the back because Van Dijk is ageing, right? He doesn't look as good as he was, and I don't think Van Dijk's going to be suddenly getting better again. Like, I think this is about where he is at the minute, and I don't think he's going to go up there. Mark Gay obviously is so experienced and good in a 3 at the back, having played it under Glasner for Palace, and it helps someone like Leone. If Leone, I know he's injured now, but at the time is like an 18-year-old, but is he putting them in the back 3 is much safer for them than a back 4. I think that's part of the reason. Lenny Yoro, obviously amazing centre-back, I think, but he's helping the fact that he has a little extra around him. I did think it would happen at some point because it also helps potentially manage the issues they have up front, where you maybe can use one of them as a wing back or a wing, like you got maybe Frimpong on one side playing as a wing back, and then on the left you could maybe use Gakpo as a wing back, which allows you to then play Gakpo and Isak and Ekitike and Salah, and also will give Salah less need to track back as often. But I think it could happen, but it depends on if they sign a centre-back in January, because they only have 3 centre-backs at the moment available. So you can't go and play a back 3 with no other centre-backs. And Robertson being the only one suddenly back 3. We got 9 in our team to play a back 3. That's the depth we've got. They've got no centre-backs.
And then, right, last one. Just because this came up in the office earlier, and before it gets clipped, Richard, this hasn't come from me, this has come from someone else. So before this gets clipped, the context is here that this didn't come from me. But Laurie, is Gabriel currently the best centre-back in the Premier League? Considering Van Dijk's form and Gabriel's form, is current Gabriel better than current Van Dijk? Richard, keep it in that I didn't say that.
I think you'd have to say yes.
Yeah. And do you reckon that's like the turning of the tide now? Like it's switched and now Gabriel's the best, or is it just a dip in form? And
I think that
it's tough
remains to be seen because personally, I'm a big admirer of Van Dijk. I really rate the guy. I've always been on the record as having said that. And I think the rest of the centre backs in that division are aspiring to be what Van Dijk has been in recent years. So I wouldn't write him off just yet. But I do think that currently speaking right now, yes, Gabriel is... and certainly that partnership of Gabriel and Saliba, I mean, that's impregnable pretty much.
I mean, I remember you the other season, well, it might have been last season, saying, I think, quote, Saliba is what Van Dijk used to be.
To be fair,
I don't know if there's quote marks
Alex.
around.
I used to say that in the presence of Alex just to wind him up.
But yeah, Gabriel, no one you'd rather have than Gabriel right now.
Not right now,
especially
no,
in both boxes. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But in recent years, though, Van Dijk has been the benchmark because he incorporates everything you want to see in a centre back: ability, strength, leadership. He can get goals. You know what I'm saying? If it gets a bit naughty, he's there. Who can forget that comment he made? What was it when one of the Liverpool players was embroiled in a bit of a dust up on the pitch? And Van Dijk rocks up and says, "Come on, choose me. Why don't you have a go?" You know what I mean? That type of stuff.
He did it in the World Cup as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
Argentina, I think.
Exactly.
Was it DePaul pushed someone over and Van Dijk just goes and bodies him?
Yeah.
He's like, well, come pick on me then. And
we've seen it with him when they've leaded goals. Remember last season where there was a game right at the end of the season, actually, where he was at fault for a goal. And then he goes down the other end and scores the header. And then, you know what I mean?
Even Atletico Madrid this season, he gets that stoppage time winner.
So he has been the benchmark in recent years. But as of right now, though, yes, Gabriel for me is the guy.
Right, let's move on to Chelsea and Forest because big news in the Premier League. It looks like Sean Dyche is back. I mean,
he's back.
And I mean, has Marinakis ruined everything? It seems a bit, yeah. I mean, it's a bit extreme to say, but I've seen Forest fans on Twitter going, Nuno got us into Europe. You then fell out with him and decided that he wasn't playing progressive enough football, so you sacked him and brought in Ange. After 8 games, realised that was a horrible idea, and now you're bringing in Dyche, who is probably more negative than Nuno ever was. So, back to square one. Your squad's unhappy, and you've wasted the first 10 games of the season.
This is a very good appointment, but it's only a good appointment because you messed up so badly 39 days ago. In terms of budget, so I think Ange's got he's banked £7 million, I think it is, from this.
It's like scoring an own goal and then scoring at the other end and doing a knee slide. But the only reason you were 1-0 down is because you scored an own goal in the first place. Yeah, and it's a great equaliser, but you probably shouldn't have been 1-0 down.
But and then the game's 3-2 loss anyway.
Yeah,
that's the kind of game. Like at the end of the game, you do the knee slide. Like Dan James years ago when he celebrated scoring an equaliser against Palace, and then we still lost 2-1 anyway.
Hannibal against Brighton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that kind of. It's Ange. Sorry, not Ange. Yes, Marinakis has ruined so much of the good work, all of the good work that everyone at Forest has been doing for the last 3 or 4 years to get them. Because remember, when they came up...
You have to remember, though, that he was the one that built it in the first... When I say built it, I mean...
He's built it, and then he's taken a bulldozer and he's knocked the whole thing down again. But really
the man's impulsive. That's what he does.
I mean, yeah, he's done... I think someone was saying at Olympiacos, he once sacked 4 managers in one season. He brought in, Marcelo and Yaya Toure, realised they were too old and got rid of them immediately. He's done his whole squad in one summer, made 25 signings. This is what he does. This is Marinakis' way.
I do have a feeling that I don't know how much longer is he going to be the owner of Forest. Is this something he's going to keep doing, or is he going to?
I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
He bought Forest for £50 million. Obviously, when he bought them quite a fair amount of time ago, less than 10 years ago. But it was they bought them £50 million. They are worth a lot more than that now.
I don't think it's money with him, though. I mean, he's super rich. I think he's got aspirations of winning trophies.
I'm not sure what the specific allegations are, but there are also some potential legal troubles back in
2017 he took over.
2017, so 8 years ago. So, but he's then brought them to the Premier League, and they're a much more valuable team than they used to be. But there are some potential legal issues, I think, going on back home for him. So which may be an external factor. I don't know the specifics of it, but there are. I saw it today. But I just think that he's undone, like you asked, he's undone so much of the good work that he had, that Forest, and I think not necessarily him, but Nuno had done. He ruined it by bringing in Ange to manage the most average, lowest and deepest defence in the league. But Dyche coming in will reset a lot of that. And I think Dyche with like Murillo and Milenkovic and co and Nico Williams, Morgan Gibbs White, Elliot Anderson, Forest are very quickly going to become quite a good team again. Which is quite. I'm annoyed that we're playing them in 2 weeks, literally at the City Ground. But,
Porto at home was his first game, by the way.
Porto at home was his first game.
Sean Dyche, Porto at home. What is the world's gone crazy?
I know.
Europa. He might win the Europa League.
It's a weird timeline, isn't it?
Now, is this a really good opportunity for Dyche? Because he's sort of had this reputation of being quite negative, quite boring, but also he's managed like Burnley and Everton, who were struggling. So is this a chance for him to be like, I can actually play really good football when I've got the players to do so? And I mean, as you alluded to earlier, it doesn't sound like the players really bought into Ange. I mean, we were chatting about Ryan Yates' interview earlier.
Yeah,
when he
that was
didn't
one
really...
of the first things I noticed because I was driving in my car. I'd watched the game, saw them get beat, and I was thought, wow. And then on my way to the gym, I'm hearing that he's got sacked. Then I heard the Ryan Yates interview. And like I said to you, Jack, off air, what struck me straight away was that there was no mention of Ange. He just talked about the players. It was a collective thing. Not once did he thank him, make reference to him. In fact, even when the reporter was sort of trying to steer him in that direction, he navigated away from it quite skillfully, quite politically skillfully, by the way. So, so he would suggest that the players were not having Ange for whatever reason. I mean, Yates himself, he could have been because he'd been sidelined. He wasn't playing, so it could be a purely selfish view. But, I mean, that was evident to me. But to go back to the Sean Dyche thing, I think he's a good appointment, especially when you consider that two of his backroom staffs, Wone and Steve Stone, especially Steve Stone, are like legends of Forest, so that will help. But it's interesting because supposedly Marinakis was not too enthused with the way Nuno played football. Well, you could argue that Sean Dyche, his style of football, is a couple of levels down from that in terms of being aesthetically pleasing.
Was Marinakis against the type of football? Or was it not more just that they, like Edu came in and then signed a load of players that Nuno didn't want, and then Nuno slightly...
No, I'm hearing that he wasn't particularly enthused with
There was a bit of a falling out about signings, which was the first part, and then I think it was the results. He was like, we're not really going to get much further. That's why he went Ange, because it was a bit different, and then obviously that's backfired, and he's realised that maybe that's not the one. I mean, someone in the chat says, I can't see Dyche lasting long under the Forest owner. He'll expect European football. Like, he might fight the fire, but then...
Yeah, but is Dyche going to just storm the Europa League?
I mean, maybe. Maybe he gets some Champions League by winning the Europa League.
Dyche can storm... Because Forest's quality is very high.
Yeah,
very high, not necessarily like compared to other Premier League clubs. But in terms of other clubs in the Europa League, they've got a good squad with good players. They've got a good striker, good midfield, really solid defence. Sells is, I still think, a good keeper who's kind of been under the cosh a bit because the defence has been so awry. First thing that Dyche is going to do is sort out that defensive line, get it stronger again.
He'll get everyone on side as well.
And he will. So there is a scenario where Sean Dyche ends up taking Forest to the Champions League, but just through the Europa League.
I mean, the stories at Burnley where he had like a forfeit wheel they had to spin for fines, and they'd go diving in some lake out the back of the Burnley training centre. So he'll get them. The players will love him.
He will stabilise, and he will. They won't get relegated under Sean Dyche. I wouldn't have thought.
Some shots have been sent in the chat, but not us. Jay Jackson sends us a super chat, so we appreciate it, Jay. He says the DR Sports panel from the morning show has the nerve to talk about squads, but since the COVID, none of them have lifted the Prem. I'm assuming he's a Liverpool fan, basically saying, how are we talking when none of us have actually won anything since COVID?
Yeah, but be realistic, man. You just lost 2-1 to Man United on your own ground. That's the first time in a decade.
Peak.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
That is not good. And I mean, final one on the Chelsea game then. Elijah sent in his hot take via Instagram earlier. If you haven't checked out our stories, we're going to start putting things on there on a Monday so you can get involved. He says Chelsea will finish above Liverpool. No comment from me, but...
No, Chelsea won't finish above Liverpool.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Liverpool, I still think... I know, obviously, I basically spent the last, 43 minutes dissing Liverpool, but they are going to get better than what they are right now. It depends on Slot, and if he becomes a little more three-dimensional, or even two-dimensional, and if he has kind of the cojones to, make some big decisions and make some big calls and play the players who are actually playing well, and almost give everyone a clean slate and... What's the word you use that's very good? like make it more of a meritocracy. That's the way realistically he should go. But Chelsea, stop getting red cards.
Yeah, that's
they've
5 in their last 6.
They have to keep 11 men on the pitch before they can think about finishing above the team that just finished, who are realistically third.
87th minute, 3-0 up.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
On a yellow.
Lunging in.
Chelsea have their own issues. They've all got some injury problems. Chelsea have great players. Achimpong, by the way.
Great player.
What a centre-back.
I mean, we got a hot take from Kyron who said he's the best centre-back in the league. So I think maybe we'll rein that one in, Kyron.
Maybe the best 19-year-old centre-back in the league.
No, he's not the best 19-year-old centre-back in the league. Lenny Yoro's better than him.
So maybe not, but a great moment
regardless,
for him.
Achimpong is he's a quality centre-back. But I'm going to go with no on this one.
Yeah, let's rein that one in, Kyron. We appreciate it, but maybe not the best in the league. I mean, another one, the final one that came in through Instagram, MZ said, Foden's better than Wirtz. They all laughed at me at the start of the season. Laugh at me now. Laughing at him or?
Right now, Foden is better than Wirtz, and Foden's done it where Wirtz hasn't. But
is Wirtz world class? People were debating this earlier. He's not playing.
What?
He's not playing world class, but is he a world class player?
No.
I think he is. Right?
No.
Well,
Wirtz.
Yeah.
prior to him
No.
coming to Liverpool, people were saying that.
I'd say he's a world class player. One of the best 10s in the world.
Everyone's got different definitions of what world class is, but I think a big part of me considering someone world class is consistency over a number of seasons.
I think you've got to be one of the best in your position, and I think number 10's out there. I mean, I like Musiala and that, but other than that, surely Wirtz is one of the best.
You can be in.
Surely shouldn't the definition of world class being that you can do it in any league? So far, Wirtz has not done it here yet, which, by the way, is considered by most observers as the best league in the world.
That's the test. Can you do it in the
if
Prem?
you come to the Premier League with a big reputation, big money, and you're not performing, arguably, can you be called world class? I'm not sure if you can.
For me, world class is a lot of it's about, as I said, consistency over a number of time. I don't necessarily think the league thing is true. Bro, Messi not played in the Prem.
Oh, no,
but we can easily say he's probably the greatest player of all time.
No, but he's never played in the league. Wirtz has, so we can judge him here and say, how can this guy be
It's hard to judge how Wirtz is going to do in the Premier League because we're in, mid-October.
I love how
there's
checked your watch
ages to go.
Month
I know. And but you know my watch doesn't even say the month as well. It just says Monday 20th. I don't know why I checked my watch for that. But no, I wouldn't say Wirtz is world-class because I also think there's to a certain extent, to be a bona fide world-class player, you only, for me, hit that level once you're 20, 25, 26. By the really rare cases, I'd say, for example, okay, to be young and world class, I'm thinking someone like Yamal, right? At the moment, I'd say his abilities are world class. But for me, to become an actual world class player, and because I hold world class in very high esteem, you have to be consistent for a number of years, potentially across a number of years, and also across domestically and internationally. Wirtz hasn't hit that point yet. He can. Wirtz can hit that point. Like, he's been so good in Germany and like undeniably amazing in Germany. And you can have someone who's on world class form, for sure. I agree. Like, so for example, like Mbeumo at one point, when he was at Brentford last season, was having a spout of world class form because he's one of the best wingers in the Premier League. I wouldn't then go, Mbeumo is therefore world class. If Mbeumo does that at Brentford and then at United and then gets him into the Champions League and then continues doing it and then does it internationally at AFCON or the World Cup, then yes. But personally, I see world class as an incredibly, really, really high bar, which involves being incredible or holding world class form for 2, 3, 4 seasons.
Is that what you're describing? Is that world class or elite? I would argue that there's a nuance there.
No, because I think elite I'd save as one of the top few in the world potentially of all time. Like Salah's season last season, I say is an elite season because his numbers were simply ridiculous. Messi is an elite player. Cristiano Ronaldo at his peak, elite player.
To be honest, I think if you're coming to a league where people would consider this league as the best league in the world and you're struggling to perform, then I'm not sure if you can call somebody world class.
I think the word's thrown around so easily these days.
I think Florian Wirtz is a world-class player that isn't playing at a world-class level right now because he's adapting to a
world-class talent.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best number 10s out there. I can't think of many better. I can't think of things he can't do. He's gone invincible with Leverkusen, a Bundesliga Player of the Year. I mean, I think quality-wise he's world-class. He's just not performing at that level right now for Liverpool, but he'll get there. I mean, maybe I'm biased because I've got a Wirtz shirt at home and I love the Leverkusen, but that's not the point. Let's quickly get through
And what I
Tottenham.
guess what you're saying is right. These things are subjective.
Yeah,
At the end of the day.
it's all a game of opinions.
Yep.
Not that the people at home will think that. They're going to be getting on to us, whoever they agree with.
Oh yeah, probably get on to me.
Speaking of getting on to people, let's quickly get through Spurs before pause. Let's quickly get through Tottenham. Romero drops out in the warm-up in the same week that Errol says he's not as good as Dan Burn. So the rumours on Twitter from Errol were saying that he might have ducked the test. However,
He's ducked that Errol litmus test.
exactly, he heard that he wasn't as good as Dan Burn and then dropped out the game. But obviously, I mean, I got heat for that. I think Romero is unbelievable. Thomas Frank doubts, quickly. Starts with a Bentancur Palhinha pivot, which a lot of their fans were saying is very negative. They then go 2-1 down and he instantly takes off Xavi Simons.
Yeah,
Questions?
I watched the game, and first of all, I've got to say it was pretty Spursy. I thought they'd lost that Spursy tag under Thomas Frank. But I did say, though, before the game, I did say a lot of Spurs fans were, for me, getting a little bit ahead of themselves. I knew this would be a tough game because in recent games, Villa has shown signs of resurgence. We know that the manager's a very good manager. We know that they've got excellent players. And they've done well at Tottenham in the past. So this result did not surprise me. I actually predicted a Desmond. I thought it might be 2-2. In the end, Villa won, and they deserved to win. I thought they looked really good at times. And with regards to your question, I just think that Thomas Frank is, let's be honest, he did well at Brentford, but he's known for being a pragmatic manager. This just should not surprise anyone.
Yeah, he is known for being that manager who will find a way of setting up to get the best against the opposition rather than being proactive and putting all your attacking talent on. Maybe he does look
That's
to nullify
his modus
before.
operandi. That's why he achieved success at Brentford. People said they praised him for that pragmatism, for acknowledging and understanding what he had and getting the best out of it. Brentford never played exhilarating football. Not that I've ever done. They've always been difficult to beat, and he always kind of got the best out of players within the systems that he...
And the flicker between the 4 and the 5 depends on who they were playing.
When Tottenham fans or anyone else, I'm like, where did this sort of expansive football and all that, what planet was you thinking that this was going to arrive from? And especially as the guy's just taken over as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, last season Spurs were seen as that team that shipping goals and so easy to play against. Of course he was going to try and come and batten down the hatches. We saw that in the pre-season. Remember when we played them, we lost the Spurs in pre-season. He was given credit for that. They got a goal just before half-time and just sat out the rest of the second half by putting 2 banks of 4 and making it difficult for us. That's what Thomas Frank does.
Yeah, I mean, Shivam and C15 in the chat are debating who's got more quality between Florian Wirtz and Xavi Simons.
Wirtz.
Depends what type of quality you are.
Wirtz or
You're looking
Simons.
at aesthetics.
Because they're similar ages, so I mean, it is all...
Yeah, Xavi Simons on his day is a quality player, man.
Wirtz has done more as well.
Wirtz has done more, but what I'm saying is... I see where that question is going because I've seen Xavi Simons do some wonderful things with a football. Mm-hmm. And he does look electric at times. So, yeah, but I would give it to Wirtz in terms of
He's got credit in the bank for what he's done with Leverkusen. All right, let's finish off. We've got 8 minutes to go, so it's only fair we talk about Arsenal and it's only fair we talk about our striker situation.
I tell you what's not fair, that we're only spending 8 minutes talking about the table toppers.
Oh,
but anyway,
wow.
It is what it is.
There's a whole channel downstairs where they do it all the time.
Look, check out AFTV.
You spent all day doing it downstairs.
I mean, look, he's come all the way. He's spent his time and money. He's got a crap. He's got back-to-back
Yeah, man.
wins.
I'm living the absolute dream at the minute because I know against Brighton it might go very, very wrong, very, very quickly.
What are you, 2 points off
So
Liverpool?
I'm just living
3
in the
points off
present.
Liverpool?
2 points, I believe, of Liverpool.
I mean,
Be careful of Danny Welbeck.
3 point. We're 3 points off City. Yeah, Danny Welbeck's going to score.
Beware of Welbeck.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know. Honestly, I wanted to sign him a couple of years back.
35-year-old Danny Welbeck.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's 35, but he spent so long injured that he's actually probably not used his muscles as much. So they're actually probably more all right.
You know when they say like Ronaldo's got the body of like a 28-year-old?
Yeah.
That's where Welbeck's at because he was injured so much.
Welbeck's realistically 25 at heart because he's played about as many minutes.
And count the rings, he's only got like 26. He's just not age. But look, let's chat about Gyökeres because we've got someone on this panel has Benjamin Sesko in his team.
Still got more goals than Sesko.
Mate, you know the comment.
I'm just going to let you two go to it.
You know the comment I made a few weeks back where I said I reckon that Sesko is going to end up having a better Premier League career than Gyökeres. I put that on my Instagram. I'm still getting comments about it.
Well, Premier League career, 100, he's going to have like 8 more years in the Prem.
But I feel like Šeško's going to end up with the better rep out the two of them over a long period.
What do you mean by that?
As in just like held in better esteem, even in the next couple of years.
You see, this is where I fundamentally disagree with that whole notion or that whole principle. I've said it many times. The currency for a striker is goals. The two most binary positions on a football pitch in terms of metrics are goalkeepers and strikers. Goalkeepers, how many goals did he let in? How many clean sheets have you kept? It doesn't matter about the other stuff. How many goals, how many clean sheets have you kept? Same with strikers. How many goals have you scored? It's not about holding up the ball, how quick you are over 30 yards, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's all good, by the way. That is all good. Yes, but at the end of the day, the binary measure is how many goals have you scored? So when you say that to me about it's obvious he's going to have a better career, I'm not so sure, because is he going to get the goals at United? I'm not convinced. Indeed, is your manager convinced? He's not even starting him against Liverpool. So clearly he doesn't feel that he can rely on him for goals. Because if he did, then he would have started yesterday, wouldn't he?
But doesn't Gyökeres have 0 in 7?
Yeah, he does.
Right,
But
he's
also got
Gyökeres. You
more
talk
goals
about
at the moment than
currency.
Šeško.
Gyökeres is an ATM machine with no cash in it at the minute.
At the minute, but he's still got more goals at the minute than your guy.
But in the last 7 games, I can just simplify it to that. And
That is what I'm saying,
Šeško
though.
has 2.
So if the season
Look at
stops,
this guy.
Can you
move in the goalposts?
If
That's
the
What,
season,
no, I wanna
if the
ask, can you check their
Dylan,
goals per
let me make
90?
this point. It's very important. If the season stopped tomorrow, Gyökeres would have more goals than Šeško has got. So how could you say he's more
That's why
successful?
I'm asking Jack quickly to check goals per 90. Because remember, Šeško's...
Bro, no one ain't checking goals per 90.
No,
bro.
because okay, let's say you can talk about a player who's got fewer goals because they've been injured the whole season or whatever, right? Šeško has started around half of our games. Gyökeres has started pretty much, I think, every single one of yours, bar maybe
Yes.
1 or 2 the whole season. I think that watching them both, Šeško is the better football player, and therefore will end up being the better striker. Because you talk about the Liverpool game, right? Amorim dropped Šeško, and he said after the game the reason is because he thinks that playing a striker who will be on the centre-back line feeds into Konate and Van Dijk's best strengths, which is their physical one-to-one abilities and battling, right? And I think that's why Gyökeres didn't have a fantastic game against Liverpool, because Liverpool were being so physical against him. That's what they're good at. Van Dijk and Konate, realistically, some of their biggest assets are their strength. Cunha was then playing up front for us, who, by the way, doesn't have a goal or assist so far, but was arguably one of the best players on the pitch that game, because we spent the entire time, you look at their defensive line, look at our attacking line, we stood off them. We were like, you want a physical battle, that's what you're good at, so we're not going to give you that. We're going to stand off you and we're going to run past you, which is how Mbeumo scored 70 seconds into the game. With Šeško, sorry, have you got the...
I'll be honest, I can't do the maths. However, in 504 minutes, Šeško's got 2 goals, and in 842 minutes, Gyökeres has 3, and his extra goal was a penalty that he didn't win.
Yeah, so that's a better goals per game or goals per 90 for Šeško, by the way.
I'm not interested in goals per 90. I'm interested...
But how are you...
No, but hang on. Now, at the end of the season, we will be having this conversation again. And if Šeško gets more goals than Gyökeres, I'll put my hand up and say he's had a better season. If he doesn't, and Gyökeres is the one that gets more goals, I'll be saying Gyökeres.
But how are you...
Gideon makes a really good point in the chat. He says, comparing Šeško and Gyökeres is a false comparison. Gyökeres should be ready to go, and Šeško's a player who's going to grow into a top player at United, hopefully. So basically... Arsenal didn't sign Šeško because Gyökeres was meant to be the win-now striker. Mm-hmm. So if they're performing at a similar level, that's alarming, because Šeško is meant to be the poor one who gets better, and Gyökeres is meant to be on it now. So the fact that we're even weighing them up right now is somewhat alarming.
Igor, okay, here's another question I got for you, Laurie.
I humbly disagree with that.
I've got a question for you. If you say that it's just total goals that matters rather than like goals per 90, etc., would you rather a striker who scores 25 goals in 50 games or 25 goals in 30 games?
No.
Which one's more valuable?
I'm saying
you're telling me one's been injured for 20 games. I want an injury-free.
No, I'm saying that one doesn't have European football or Carabao Cup football, whereas one is competing for more trophies.
The Premier League season, I'm going to judge my striker by how many goals he's got, not by how well he held the ball up. What I'm saying is a striker's position is the metric of judging him is very binary. It's all about the goals you get. Period.
I think strikers bring more to football teams than just goals.
But I'm saying
so therefore, why not judge them on all of that?
Ultimately, that's how you're judged. Simple.
I don't necessarily think that's fair. Firmino was judged as a very good striker at the time, but he barely
we
scored.
have to beg to differ on that one.
Yeah.
So we get a final take on. Okay, let's put it this way: if I said to you now we can go back to the summer and I'll give you Sesko instead of Gyökeres, would you take that deal?
I'd honestly go for Gyökeres because I would look at the goal scoring record over the years and I would come to the immediate conclusion that one is a prolific striker and one isn't. Arsenal need a prolific striker. We need somebody that can turn the draws into wins, and I would be judging my decision based on that.
And then before we wrap, the same question to you: if I offered you Gyökeres in the summer instead of Sesko,
No. I reckon that Šeško will prove you wrong.
Well, we'll see.
Comfortably.
We'll see.
And then we leave it there. That is a great way to end it. Get in the comments if you haven't already and what you think of the Sesko Gyökeres. But that's been the Live at 5 show. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Abby and Kenya, I believe. We've got Champions League action, the build-up to Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid. So, look, if you've been joining us on YouTube, we appreciate you being here. If you're on Samsung TV, even better. So, look, we'll be back tomorrow. Abby and Kenya, Champions League preview. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome along,
That is
weekend
unbelievable.
roundup. Oh my days. We're in for a great show today, guys. Well, what about the North London derby?
I'm not getting rattled.
We're 3 points off top 4, so it's not looking too bad.
Yeah.
Foden 88, Saka 87. I think that's wrong.
Nice that you put your top on. You want to take it off and get the branding out? Happy birthday!
Make a wish to win the league.
I did.
How much chance will Arsenal have of winning the Champions League?
0, mate.
If we got through PSV, do you think there's any chance?
No,
we
no,
know?
no.
Hang on, let me finish.
Predictions:
2-1 Tottenham.
3-1 Liverpool.
2-0 Wolves.
Chelsea to beat Man United at Old Trafford.
Still there.
You're in trouble if we win this game.
You better not lose on Saturday.
We beat the world champions this weekend. That makes you world champion.
We're the world champions, but you're not in a title.
This is why you'll never win the league.
6 million down the drain.
Robbie celebrating a 1-0 win. Abby Pilates instead of trophies. You never walk alone.
Catch us every Monday for the weekend roundup.
He's never getting better than he is.
He's
right
too
now.
insistent on trying.
He's never getting better.